It started with a phone call. Maria's voice trembled on the line as she whispered, "I think someone else is living my life." She was 37, a digital marketing consultant, a single mother, and for the last 3 months, she'd been fighting a ghost that had emptied her accounts, opened lines of credit she'd never requested, and triggered an IRS audit. By the time she contacted authorities, the trail was ice cold. Her IP log showed access points in Uzbekistan, Sao Paulo, and even a US data center, but none of them were traceable. Not by her bank, not by her cybersecurity firm, and not even by law enforcement. When the FBI finally stepped in, their internal report held one line that would haunt Maria for the rest of her life. Encryption suspected to be quantum resistant. Origin location unverifiable. Maria's story isn't just about identity theft. It's a preview of a future where criminals may vanish behind encryption so powerful, even supercomputers can't crack it. If this is your first time here, this is Agent Exposed, signing in. Everything you're about to hear is based on real-world research, emerging technology, and verified intelligence reports. No part of the story is meant to glorify cybercrime, only to expose it. So stay alert. What you don't know could already be working against you. Welcome to the quantum dark web. And what's most terrifying? It's already starting to take shape. Most people think of the dark web as a static place, some shady corner of the internet filled with illicit markets and hacker forums. But the truth is it's evolving. And right now, behind closed Tor nodes and encrypted IRC channels, an arms race is brewing. Not for guns, not even for malware, but for encryption. Quantum-proof encryption. You may have heard of quantum computing. Machines that use quantum bits or qubits to process information exponentially faster than traditional computers. Now imagine what happens when these machines become powerful enough to break the encryption we rely on today. Banking systems, email providers, military comms, everything. This looming threat has driven scientists and governments to build something called post-quantum cryptography. New encryption methods that even quantum computers can't crack. But here's the catch. While governments work on protecting infrastructure, cybercriminals are preparing their own quantum defenses. Because if law enforcement ever does develop quantum decryption tools, those tools will only work on data protected by outdated encryption. Which brings us back to Maria. The attacker who infiltrated her life used a unique variant of a communication protocol that security researchers had never seen before. Encrypted messaging that couldn't be intercepted. Authentication tokens that didn't match any known hash algorithms. File transfers that self-destructed on packet sniffing. It was like the hacker was operating on a different plane of the internet, a level above the dark web itself. Security researchers now believe Maria's attacker was part of an emerging digital syndicate known only as Nova. They don't sell drugs. They don't do ransomware. They sell digital disappearing acts, identity erasure, borderless credentials, corporate espionage routes, all wrapped in what they call quantum cloak. Here's where it gets very real. In 2022, the National Institute of Standards and Technology, NIST, began standardizing quantum-safe encryption algorithms like Crystal's Kyber and Crystal's Dilithium. But just 1 year later, dark web chatter revealed modified versions of these very algorithms being offered for sale in private marketplaces. How did criminals get their hands on prototypes? According to one whistleblower inside a European cybersecurity agency, parts of the code were scraped from publicly accessible research repos. Others were leaked by rogue developers paid in Monero and Scash. Cryptocurrencies already optimized for anonymity. One group even ran a demo. An AI-generated identity was created for a fake Brazilian entrepreneur. He applied for 3 startup grants in Europe using post-quantum credentials, passed 2 KYC checks, and disappeared with $600,000 in seed funding. Authorities couldn't trace the funds, or the applicant, or even prove the identity had ever existed. It was wiped clean by what researchers now call QGhost, Quantum Encryption Spoofing. Let's pause, because this isn't science fiction. Right now, researchers at Google, IBM, and universities like MIT and ETH Zurich are racing to find quantum-secure solutions before full-scale quantum computers are commercially viable. But the criminals? They don't need quantum computers. They just need quantum-proof tools. Think about it. If you're a cartel moving millions through crypto or a state-sponsored hacker infiltrating infrastructure, you don't need to break quantum. You just need to block quantum detection. And that's exactly what we're seeing. The Canadian Centre for Cybersecurity warned in 2023 that hostile actors were prepositioning for a quantum future, meaning they're stockpiling encrypted data today, with the hope of decrypting it tomorrow using quantum computing. This tactic is known as harvest now, decrypt later. But what happens when the reverse occurs? What happens when criminals use encryption so future-proof that even quantum computers can't touch it? That's what Maria's case represents. And it's only the beginning. Let's look at the tools already leaking into darknet circles. Some private Git repositories, circling behind paywalls and invite-only groups, offer quantum-hardened VPNs, boasting 10 lattice cryptosystems, zero-trust session keys, and obfuscation layers so dense they make Tor look like plain text. One such tool, nicknamed QGhost, allows users to clone their traffic across multiple fake nodes in real time. If intercepted, the packet collapses into garbage data, leaving no breadcrumbs. Even law enforcement agencies with quantum simulation capabilities have struggled to isolate users of QGhost. And the most chilling part? QGhost was originally developed as a privacy tool for journalists and political dissidents. But as with all technologies, what begins as protection can quickly become a weapon, just like the story of Tor. Tor, the backbone of the dark web, was created by the U.S. Naval Research Lab in the 1990s. It was meant to protect U.S. intelligence communications. But today, it powers illegal marketplaces, child exploitation rings, and ransomware-as-a-service shops. The quantum encryption tools leaking today, they're already being repurposed in the same way. And it's about to get worse. Because while governments are debating whether quantum computing will be viable in 10 years or 30, rogue actors are moving faster. In 2024, a cyber attack on a Japanese biotech firm was traced to a hacker group that used an uncrackable encrypted channel. The only clue left behind was a blockchain-based dead drop labeled MDS TWQ23. The TWQ tag matched identifiers for test wave quantum, an experimental encryption model tested by Chinese researchers 2 years earlier. This meant only one thing. Someone had taken government-grade quantum research and weaponized it, and no one noticed until it was too late. When Maria's attacker was finally profiled by international investigators, they discovered something terrifying. It wasn't one person. It was an autonomous AI agent, scripted to search databases, build false identities, reroute funds, and overwrite logs. The AI had been trained to adapt to threats. If its session was detected, it changed location. If its packet was sniffed, it rerouted and re-encrypted. Maria hadn't just been hacked. She'd been hunted by a machine armed with quantum-resistant tools. Which leads us to the hardest truth of all. The quantum dark web isn't some far-off dystopia. It's here, right now, hidden in corners of encrypted forums, embedded in messages disguised as blockchain transactions, whispered in IRC servers masked by decoy IPs. And while you're watching this video, it's growing. The FBI's 2024 Cyber Threat Outlook warned of a coming zero visibility era. An era where threat actors move so silently, so invisibly, that attribution becomes nearly impossible. And when attribution dies, justice follows. That's why protecting yourself and your data matters more than ever. Use strong, updated passphrase. Enable hardware-based 2FA. Don't trust flashy encrypted tools unless they're peer-reviewed and open source. Watch for quantum-safe claims. They're often fake. Because if Maria's story teaches us anything, it's this. The future isn't just encrypted, it's weaponized. And the only defense we have is knowledge. If you found this story terrifying but eye-opening, don't scroll away just yet. This is the kind of truth you need to share. So hit that subscribe button if you want more exposés like this one. Smash like if you're ready to fight back against invisible cyber threats. And tell us in the comments, do you think the quantum dark web is already here? Or are we still living in its shadow? The first 100 comments will be read live in our next drop. And if you made it this far, you're already part of the resistance.